everybody. My name is Emily McMaster. I'm the Communications Director for Granite State Ambassadors. And this year, Granite State Ambassadors is coordinating the New Hampshire Farm, Forest, and Garden Expo. So today, we're going to learn a little bit more about the Expo and one of the sponsors, Leaf. And you've seen their boxes of lettuce everywhere, and so we want to learn a little bit more about what they do. And so today, I'm joined by DJ Grand Maison, and he is sales and marketing for Leaf. And we're excited to talk more with him. So first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this position?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for doing the interview and for really providing a spotlight for Leaf. We appreciate that. So a little bit about me. I have background in farming. I farmed for a very long time, a little farm in Concord, New Hampshire. And over the years, I worked throughout the industry making networks and meeting lots of different people. And I came across a gentleman named Henry Huntington who offered me a position at Pleasant View Gardens. Leaf was originally owned by Henry and his family, and they started Leaf with the mission really to provide fresh greens year-round and provide a superior product that's safe and clean that consumers, especially in New Hampshire, would gravitate towards and want to support. So.
Great. And so when was that? When did Leaf open?
Leaf sold our very first package of lettuce back in 2016, January 1st. And since then, we've evolved as a company. We're still 1 acre. And kind of the whole mission from the beginning since 2016 has been, again, to provide very unique blends and very tasty and fresh product to the consumer. And fast forward to today, we're now owned by a new company called Bright Farms, and Bright Farms is the #1 controlled environmental agricultural greenhouse company in the country, and they have 5 greenhouses plus ours, so they now have 6 greenhouses across the whole country, and we're just continuing to evolve and grow as a company.
That's wonderful. And where is it located?
So Leaf is located in Loudon, New Hampshire, right off 106, right before the Speedway. So if you know where the Speedway is in Loudon, we're about 3-ish miles before that, in this beautiful little spot where we converted a gravel pit into a food-producing hub. So it's kind of a piece of land that really wasn't aggregable, and we converted this into this 12-acre piece of land into something that's producing about 1 million pounds a year. So very effective.
Now, tell us about your growing process. You use the hydroponic process, correct?
We do. So, my background's in traditional farming, so planting seeds in the soil and growing during our normal growing season in New England, which is typically May to October. Hydroponics and greenhouse is really fascinating to me because it provides an opportunity to grow year-round in a region that really, we only have a couple months to grow, right? So hydroponics is a really fascinating technique and strategy to grow. It essentially uses soilless media or no media at all and grows directly in water. And we're feeding nutrient-rich solution to plants. So they really have no competition, right? We can grow them in a greenhouse. There's no pests, there's no bugs, there's no weeds. And we're feeding them the nutrients they need exactly when they need it. And so it's a very effective way to grow plants. And we can typically outdoor growing baby greens, their growth cycle is about 30 days. Hydroponics, you can cut that in half. It's about 15 days. So it's really effective, and it allows us to conserve a lot of resources. So, when we use plant nutrition, it goes right to the roots, we recycle it and reuse it. And so there's no runoff, and it's really efficient. And so, in our greenhouses, not only do we cut the grow time in half, we can also have a little bit better quality, better color on the product because we're using some artificial light to help make the plants get exactly the energy they need when they need it. And so a lot of technology, a lot of science behind it, but it's a very effective way to grow, especially year-round in our climate.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to learn a little bit more about how that works too. So if you've been to the grocery store, you've seen all the different types of packaging that Leaf has to offer. What are some of the different greens that you grow?
Yeah, so at our farm, from the beginning, we've really focused on growing unique varieties and blends that people would really see a difference in the marketplace. We didn't want to just breed another spring mix, so we don't have a spring mix. We have four different blends. We have a green leaf, which is really sweet and crunchy. We have a red and green leaf, which we call fusion. That's has like a buttery red leaf and a really crunchy green leaf, so it's a nice texture. You get kind of the crunch, but it's really soft as well. And then our most popular is spice, which has 8 varieties of greens in it: mizunas, arugulas, and mustards, which kind of give it this really spicy, peppery kind of tone to it, but it's balanced with some really sweet leafy greens as well. And then our final blend is smooth, which is a 10 blend, and then has a whole variety of oak leaf lettuces, buttery bibs, icebergish, romaine varieties, and mizuna. And so it's a very soft, and it's almost like a buttery blend. And so it's kind of 4 different flavor and texture profiles to kind of fit the need of really every consumer. People who really like the crunchy varieties will gravitate towards crisp, and people who like the buttery, you kind of get this whole, I guess, we get the whole segment covered, right? All the textures.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've tried them all and they're all delicious. There's one variety in my fridge right now, so that's exciting. What would you say that your role in the community is?
I think from day one, we've tried to be a really vocal partner when it comes to we've worked a lot with the food bank. We anytime we have surplus, we'll donate to the food bank, and we really see ourselves as kind of having a conversation around food inequality and food access, and really just trying to drive the message that with the technologies that we have, we're able to produce food year round, and it kind of changes the conversation around how we source food and how we talk about food and where food comes from. And really, specifically for the community, we've really tried to support organizations that we think help people gain access to food and healthy food specifically.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So switching gears just a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about the Farm, Forest, and Garden Expo. So how are you affiliated with us and what's your role?
Yeah, I've participated personally in the Farm and Forest Expo for years. This is the first time Leaf has participated. We are really excited about the opportunity. We think, anytime you have an opportunity to educate people on agriculture in general is just, so unique, especially for New Hampshire. So many people are so engaged and interested in agriculture, and Farm and Forest Expo is just a perfect venue to really kind of spread the word of what we're doing. And we're excited to really get into the details with people at this event. And we're going to have a great video about our process. And then we'll have some farmers on hand, some bright farmers to talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it and why we love what we do.
Great. And we thank you for your sponsorship and your participation in the event. And if anybody wants to talk to you or your representatives there, you will be there on the 4th and the 5th of February from 9 to 7 on Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday. So that's very exciting. And, along the same lines, do you have any other partnerships with local events, businesses, organizations that you'd like to share?
I would say on the retailer side, we see retailers like Hannaford and Market Basket and Shaw's and Whole Foods and a lot of independent retailers support local. And just using Hannaford as an example, you go into their stores and they really push local like crazy. And what you see is, I think all these retailers that I mentioned and especially the independents are really pushing the change of relying on food coming from outside of our region. And I think there's this big shift happening. And I just want to call out the efforts that all these retailers are really making the effort to provide more local food. And it's not just greens, but you're seeing it in almost every category in the store. Every day I go and shop at these stores or go check out our product, I notice more and more local products on the shelf. And that's mainly for reasons kind of like farm and forest, just bringing more education, to the forefront on what New Hampshire producers are doing. It could be veggies, or it could be, dressings or croutons, or you just go through the whole store and there's a million items now that's provided by New Hampshire or New England producers. So just wanted to call out the expertise of these retailers promoting local.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. There's been a really big local movement lately, and with Farm and Forest, we try to certainly educate the public about all the different options there are out there. So very exciting. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today about Leaf?
Yeah, so we do have, we went from a family-owned company to now owned by Bright Farms, and I'm excited because, controlled environmental agriculture is this very powerful tool that we have in our tool bag to produce food locally. And this technology is all brand new, and it's all kind of rolling out right now. And what I'm excited about is Bright Farms is going to be expanding our facility from 1 acre to 13 acres within the next year. So we're going to be producing millions and millions of pounds of green a year. And, what we've kind of struggled with over the last couple of years is just capacity. The demand for local, far outpaces what we can produce. And expanding, having these resources to expand will allow us to produce way more. In a year from now, we're going to have the ability to support our retail partners and our consumers on a much higher level. And I think that's so vital for us as a company, but also as a region, to have more access to local food. So.
Excellent. Well, that's very exciting to hear. And if anybody has any more questions, you're welcome to stop by the Farm and Forest Expo on February 4th and 5th to learn more. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.